Hey, Big V here, Verl Workman here, CEO of Workman Success Systems, a company focused primarily on building, coaching, and developing high-performing teams. Today, we're going to talk about how to sell your home in any market. Now, you might think that you can sell your home in any market, but the reality is, as the market changes, it gets more difficult to sell properties. As real estate agents and teams, I would like to give you the inside secrets on how to look at things differently, and I'm going to give you some free tools and resources that will help you position your properties to sell faster and for more money. All you have to do is stay tuned till the end of the video, and I'm going to give it to you to download right here at the bottom. So let's talk about selling. The first thing you have to understand is think about this dialogue. Have you ever heard anybody say something like this? Suppose I could show you a way that you could sell your home in today's market for top dollar without spending a ton of time or money doing it. Is there any reason you wouldn't listen? You see, carefully using the words, suppose I could show you a way, and then ending the phrase after solving their problem with, is there any reason you wouldn't listen, creates an environment where your consumer, when they say, no, I wouldn't listen, if there's any reason you wouldn't listen, they say no, it gives them permission to say no. But when they say no, what does it really mean? Yeah, that's right. It means yes. You see, understanding that selling today is kind of like combat fishing. I want to think about the changes in the real estate market. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about my son, Nate. When Nate turned 13 or 14 years old, I think he got his Eagle Scout. And I was a Scoutmaster for many, many years. And I remember him getting his Eagle Scout. And I was so proud of him that I wanted to take him on a great adventure. So we decided we were going to go to Alaska. And I was going to speak at a conference, and guess what it was called? The Great Alaskan Adventure. Now, the cool thing about this conference, it was put on by a bunch of real estate friends of mine that were from all over the country, great speakers that love to fish in Alaska. So they would put this conference on every year, and people would come in and learn from great speakers and presenters, and you'd speak for a day, and then you'd spend 8 or 9 days fishing in this beautiful state of Alaska. I remember the first day going out to the Russian River. And I don't know if you've ever heard of combat fishing before, but fishing on the Russian River is combat fishing. And it's pretty fun until you put a kid out there with you. And so you're using a fly that's about this long, and you do this thing called the Kenai flip. Here's how it works, is everybody in unison, you could almost put orchestra music to the background. They take their fly, and with their string in their hand, they flip it out there, and everybody does the same thing. And then you follow the current down, and then you kind of jerk back. What happens is the fish are on the bottom, and they're not really feeding, but their mouths are going like this. You have to catch them in the mouth in order to be able to keep the fish. So the fish goes like this, the line goes downstream, catches in there. When you pull it back, you catch them in the mouth. There's so many fish in there, it actually works. So I want you to imagine dozens of people on both sides of the river doing this Kenai flip, pulling it back in until someone gets a fish on. When they get a fish on, the people right next to them back up out of the way, let you land your fish, and then they continue with this beautiful thing. Well, my son, he was cute and he was fun, but he wasn't very patient, and he didn't follow the orchestra and everybody doing the Kenai flip at the same time. So if you can imagine a kid going woo with his line and crossing everybody else's line and then getting a fish on and tangling other people's line, it was just a nightmare. And while it was cool to see all the fish in the water, I never wanted to do that again. So the next day at the conference, I was talking to Glenda, was her name. And I said, Glenda, we kind of had a crazy experience, and this is what it was like. She says, oh, you got to learn how to fish upstream. I said, what do you mean by that? And she says, I'm going to put you in contact with my title guy, who's a fishing guide that has private property. And tomorrow you can go with him. So the next day, we met him at a secret spot in a parking lot. He opened up his van, and he had all the gear and all the poles and the waders and everything we needed. And then we went on a trek. We drove about 35 miles away from where we were before. And then he had to open a special gate that was a private gate, went on some private property, went upstream, and here we are on the same Russian River with thousands of fish and nobody standing next to us. How do you think that day went? Yeah, it was awesome. We caught fish after fish after fish, and we limited out, and it was so fun. The river of real estate is just like that. There's always people in the river of real estate that are buying and selling houses. As real estate agents, we have a tendency to go combat fishing, and we're always standing next to the same agents doing the same things, trying to catch the same fish. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think more strategically. And how do you go upstream away from everybody else so that you can sell your house in today's market without combat fishing? How do you identify sellers without trying to be the same agent going after the same sellers all of the time? Harvard University proved recently in a study why people move. People don't move for the reasons you think. They don't move because of high or low interest rates, and they certainly don't move because they want to. They move because of life events that occur. They move because, and here's some of the study, they got married, they get divorced, they're upsizing, they're downsizing their family, they're retiring, they're moving into an area, moving out of an area, they get relocated, they lost their job, they got a new job. There's this constant flow of people in this river of real estate that are moving, and they move because of life events that occur. So once you understand why people move because of life events, the communication and where you look for these people is directly related to where they are in their life. And that's how you start to move upstream. Selling home in today's market requires you to do a few things better. Number one, I say that it's a price war and a beauty contest, and you have to win both. So you have to price it right. Price it right means, and when you go through SLAM, our Listing Agent Mastery program, we teach a concept called clock pricing. The way that clock pricing works is this. If you want your house to sell in 0 to 3 months, you have to price it just below the market. If you want it to go 3 to 6 months, you price it at market value. If you want it to be on the market 6 to 9 months, you go above market value, and 9 months or longer, then you're smoking crack on price. So what we teach our agents to do is ask the sellers when they want to be out of their home, and then we let them put the pricing together that they feel is right based on the information we give them, and then we set the right expectations of how long it's going to sell. One of the things that we've discovered is the longer it's on the market, the less it actually sells for. So pricing it right in the beginning will actually save you time, and your house will sell for more. When the house is on the market too long, people start to wonder what's wrong with the home, why other people aren't making offers on it, and they become more aggressive in the offers they provide. So think about pricing it right. Number two is the presentation. When you stage a home and you take the personal things out of the house, people can walk through it and they can begin to imagine what their family would feel like and look like living in this home. When the seller keeps all their personal stuff in there and all the pictures of their family and all the stuff they love, it's hard for some people like me to come in and visualize what it would feel like to live in this home. So having an educated stager that knows how to position a property so that potential buyers can actually feel themselves moving in it is a gift, and it's an art, and it's worth paying for. When we say it's a price war and a beauty contest and you have to win both online and offline, what that means is that you have to use professional photography. I know that our phones have great cameras today and we can go in and take our own pictures, but there's a big difference between having the right lighting and the right shutter speed and the right angles to be able to give the feeling of what it really would feel like to move into that home. We want people to emotionally move into the home online before they ever get there. Doing a Matterport tour, doing floor plans, giving you the ability to walk through a home and change the color of the walls creates that emotional engagement in marketing of today's property. The next thing is the marketing, and I'm telling you, this is one of the biggest things that agents fail. Most agents believe that a 4P marketing plan works. The 4Ps are, you put it on the MLS, you put an ad in the paper, you put it on social media, you put a sign in the yard, and you pray that it sells. Well, to me, that is a weak marketing plan. And when the consumer believes that they are paying too much for the services provided, when all you do is put it on the MLS and let other people go sell the house, I think the consumer is right. Great agents do what's called a premium marketing plan, and they have a whole bunch of activities that put that home in the best light and get it out in front of more people. My job as a listing agent is to create a frenzy around your property. I want the consumer to be blown away with how much active showings there are. When people come through, I want to actually be there to sell the home. You have to be an agent that represents the seller if you want sellers to be able to buy. We've created a program for sellers called the Seller's Confidence System. The Seller's Confidence System is a checklist of things that great agents do in the marketing of the property to give sellers the confidence that you have the ability to sell their home in the changing market. For a free download of the Seller's Confidence System, I just want you to click on the link right below here. It's one of our great shift modules. I'm going to give it to you free just for being on this video. Download it, and then as you look through the Seller Confidence System and the checklist, if you're missing something, go in and build it. If you need more help, reach out to coach@workmansuccess.com, ask for a free consultation, and let's see if we can help you become a better lister in any market.